Come here, Marie. Are you hungry? Is that what's wrong? How am I in frame? Yeah, come here. What's wrong with you right now? Is that right? So let's just scoot this up a little bit. Hmm? Oh, 6 people are here? Um, hey guys, it's Dr. P, and I don't know if you see Marie right now, but I'm gonna try not to look at the video. Alyssa's gonna be looking at the comments, so you can make comments if you have any questions as I go along. I'm hoping to make this video 30 minutes or less, and kind of doing this for my own sanity. We're here in Los Angeles. We're basically both working from home, but Alyssa, she works with UCLA, and her lab is not fully shut down yet. So she'll still be going in into the lab on occasion, but for the most part, we're going to try to self-isolate. Marie's here. You can see her. Can you see her? Can you see her? See her now? There she is. She's fine. We started the video a couple minutes ago, and she started vomiting. I think she's hungry. We've been feeding her the same amount. I don't know. Hopefully she's not sick. She's not running a fever or anything. Sort of coincidental and weird. So things I want to talk to you guys about. So obviously, COVID-19 is sweeping through California like wildfire right now. Basically, unmitigated and underdiagnosed, most likely. And so that means that if you live here or you live in the United States or basically anywhere where around the world where COVID-19 is being transmitted between person to person, you have to take extra precautions. And I just wanted to catalog what we're going through and what we're doing, and also to, I don't know, give you things that I've read from science papers that, as far as I know, are like facts or at least experimentally, they're science-driven pieces of information. So we live in an apartment, and because we live in an apartment, Marie is in here all the time, and she's constantly in close contact with us. So we have to start thinking about like what is on Marie. So COVID-19 is a zoonotic disease, a disease that was transmitted from an animal to a human. And so because it's new, we don't really know what it can infect. So we're not 100% sure that a dog can at least carry the disease. There was a case in Hong Kong a while back, you probably have seen it, where a dog was tested, swabbed, and I guess the fecal matter was taken, and they found virus. And so since then, there's kind of been a lot of like myth busting about whether or not dogs can get you sick. But the reality of the situation is that anything that is contaminated, if you touch it and then contaminate yourself, touch your face, your ears, or your mouth, or your nose, or your eyes, you can be exposed to COVID-19. So a dog, in particular, Marie, she's got a lot of fur. And when you go outside, she's exposed to the environment. And other people have been there. So whenever somebody touches her or she rolls around somewhere, you have the potential for just being covered in pathogens. Normally, we don't care because we fight off most things pretty easily. And but right now, in my expert opinion, is the Trump administration handling this right? I don't. Well, first off, I don't have an expert opinion, but but based on my scientific modeling, no, that we're about a month behind in in trying to contain the spread of the virus. So back to the dog. So Marie still needs to go outside. She still needs to get exercise. We don't have a backyard. So what we were doing before was going to parks and stuff like that. Thing about parks is there's a lot of people who go. Usually, sometimes the grass can be wet, and all of these things are not good for minimizing exposure. So one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I kind of want to tell you what we've sort of planned on doing, and I'm not sure if it's going to be more or less effective, but it seems to me to make sense. So one of the things we're trying to do is viruses in general are susceptible to UV light. About an hour of exposure to UV light breaks down most corona-type viruses. Breaks down SARS, breaks down MERS. I don't really know for sure if it breaks down COVID-19, SARS-2, but it's reasonable to expect that it would. So we're trying to, when we take Marie out to places where she might get dirty, like there's a place we take her, I might show you a video, we call it the Dunes. It's got a lot of UV exposure there. So we're gonna try to take her in the middle of the day, hopefully when there's a small footprint in terms of human traffic. And otherwise, we're gonna keep her on the street. When Marie gets home, what we've been doing is wiping her feet. If she's been like rolling around in something or she really gets really dirty, we're bathing her and trying to wash out all of her fur. So far, we've only bathed her twice, but I think the plan is we're going to try to bathe her at least once a week for the next 2 months, I would say. Precautions that we're taking, every time we come in, we take off our shoes. We're always wearing a second covering, at least on our arms and our upper body, like a sweater. We take off the sweater, we put it in the closet. We try not to bring any contaminants into the rest of the apartment. It's obviously impossible. Both Alyssa and I have worked in biocontainment facilities. When you're in a biocontainment facility, you usually have 2 doorways with a negative pressure, or I guess a positive pressure outwards. And can you see my hands? Okay. So when you come through this door, you gown up and then you go into the containment area. When you leave, you throw everything away and then you go back out into the world. And the idea is that you're trying to keep the dirty place, which is that middle place, clean, and let everything that passes that dirty place into the next area to be completely clean. We can't do that, but what we can do is try to minimize the amount of contamination that happens from us walking around outside or doing things outside and then coming in and then touching things or walking around with our shoes, in particular on floors, and contaminating the rest of the apartment. So we have in our little hallway, we take off our shoes, we take off our jackets, we take off our hats, we try to cover your hair, and then we decontaminate as best we can, wash up, spray down with 75% alcohol, and then move on with life. When we go back out, we have shoes for like inside if we need to like go out to our patio here. But that's also potentially contaminated. We don't know. You guys just don't know. But yeah, that's what we're doing. So we are trying to isolate contamination to right next to the door. And every few days, we try to clean up everything, all the doorknobs, everything we touch, all the surfaces, with either isopropyl alcohol or hydrogen peroxide. And hydrogen peroxide is probably your best bet for most things because it's a lot cheaper to use. I'll put a link in the description after this finishes, but most hydrogen peroxide bottles you buy at the pharmacy, if you find them, people have been avoiding it, I don't know why, is actually more concentrated than you need. So you can go a fourth, like of your solution of this like available hydrogen peroxide, and the rest water, and a minute of exposure, aerosolize it, and a minute of exposure to that should inactivate viruses. In particular, COVID-19. I'll put the link to that paper, and you can see also bleach solutions. So yeah, that's what we're doing. I wanted to keep this short, and then if you guys have thoughts or questions, I also wanted to give you an update of what's going on with Marie. It's been a while since I posted a video, so if you guys have any questions, I think it's like a small gathering here. What do we got? 8 people. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, I'm ready to take any of your questions. What's that? Oh, right. So when we go on walks outside, Alyssa wants to mention one more thing, and this is very important. I'm going to grab the wipes right now. So these are baby wipes, and they're probably sold out in most places. We just had them from before. We would sometimes wipe her down. So when you wash your hands, when you're washing your hands, CDC says to wash your hands, 30 seconds. So in a surgery, like if you're a surgeon, your time you wash your hands is 3 minutes, just so you know. 30 seconds is fine. But the whole point of it isn't to kill virus with soap. This doesn't do much. It's to remove the virus from the surface and put it into the sink and down the drain. So when we do walk Marie outside and we walk her on the street and she's not been rolling in things, we wipe her feet every single time she comes in with baby wipes. We can't use hydrogen peroxide on her or isopropyl alcohol on her on a consistent basis. Those are irritants. And like, for instance, in her face, she's gonna breathe it and she's gonna get it in her eyes and things like that. And we don't want that to happen. So we just wipe her feet with these baby wipes. These baby wipes, their active ingredient is, I don't know where, this one doesn't have Jack in it. It doesn't matter because it doesn't work anyways. It's not going to kill any viruses, even if you have the antibacterial, baby-friendly baby wipe. Antibacterial and killing viruses aren't the same thing. And a lot of those compounds haven't been shown to be super effective at killing viruses. So the point of the baby wipes is just to clean the surface of her foot and to remove any stuff that's on there, but not to inactivate any viruses. We immediately throw that into a trash can that we have in our when we enter the apartment. Let's see here. Thank you. Jessie B says that she used the doorbell method to have her dog tell her when to open the door. When to go out. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad it worked for you. I really am. We used to use it a lot more than we do now. Now, because we're on a schedule, Marie has like a schedule. It's not really my schedule. She has her own schedule that she thinks she's supposed to go outside at a certain time. She just starts bringing shoes to you, and starts getting upset and complaining. So she's kind of moved past having to ring the bell and kind of directly complaining to the boss about not going outside. So for her, it's in the morning. Alyssa will take her out, like I said, on concrete, and then in the daytime, I'll take her to on another walk, and we'll play and stuff. But now I think we're gonna switch it to we're gonna go to a sandy place in the daytime, in the middle of the day when it's really sunny. Hopefully there won't be anybody there, and have her get out. Like she can run around there like without a leash, and so have her get out a lot of energy in the middle of the day. Yeah, but I'm glad the doorbell, the bell ringing video helped you out, and it's also the very first step to kind of really kind of getting that rapport with your dog, like having your dog understand that it can tell you things as well, like just effectively, but with high fidelity, is very important. Here's a question. I'm friends with many nurses and a few doctors, and I'd love to get your opinion on this. Is there a chance this virus is a bioweapon or developed naturally? Um, I mean, there's always a chance, right, that that's the case, but it's just the kind of unrestrained nature of its spread has been and the crazy steps every government has taken to stop it suggests to me that nobody was really ready for it besides the countries that already had experienced SARS. They seem to respond by doing the same things that they did when SARS outbroke like 10 years ago. So I'd say that the chance that it is a bioweapon is low because didn't they didn't have a vaccine ready. They didn't slow it down. So, like Wuhan was a nightmare. So I don't think it was. It seems to me that it was like my uneducated, like in terms. Uh, I'm not an epidemiologist, but I'm also not a bioweapons expert, or I'm not in the military or anything like that. But just given the circumstance, it doesn't seem like a weapon because there's no vaccine for it. So if you were building something like that, the first thing you would make would be the vaccine, right? You would think, because if it got it out in the lab that you're, testing it in, which is likely, then you want to be able to stop it. Itchy eyes, McRealized. Good question. Um, yeah, it was a good question. Where are we at? 15 minutes? 18 minutes? Should we call it there? I'm probably going to do this again in a few days because, we're locked down. Also, it kind of helps just talking to people. And since you guys are here, if you don't have anything to do, answering questions is kind of relieving to me. There's other things I want to talk about probably that, if these are the last videos I ever make. I wanted to do like a little raw food diet video about that. In terms of, I guess one last thing, in terms of what's going on in Los Angeles right now, if you don't live here, it's kind of a mishmash of people, not really, of a good percentage of people kind of understanding or sensing danger and panic, I guess, and they are, taking supplies, probably as some of the things that they should be grabbing anyways. And then another set of people kind of aren't taking it seriously. The government in the state of California is taking it seriously, but they are kind of still behind like where they should be in terms of how seriously they should be taking it. We have been underreporting who's been infected, not intentionally, I don't think, but just because up until last week they didn't really have the test capability. So the numbers are probably going to really spike up in the next few days, and when that happens, I think people are going to really start to freak out. But we're kind of not there yet. But we can't go to restaurants anymore past midnight, past 8 p.m. They're all shutting down, and the East Coast has a curfew, and I think we're probably not far off from a curfew here. But as this goes on, as we develop symptoms or whatever, we'll just catalog the whole thing and put it up for posterity or for us later to laugh about, I hope. Yeah. He's here for the pup in the thumbnail. Hey, wake up. You're on. They want to see you. There she is. She's alive. And she's sleepy. Okay, guys. Catch you later. I'll probably be back maybe next week or Friday, something like that. If something happens, I'll let you know. Thank you for what? Huh? Have I been tested? No, you can't get tested unless you're basically about to die, or you have like very severe symptoms. My buddy is an ER doctor in Orange County, and yeah, they're basically they're not going to test you until you're struggling to breathe, or you've been somewhere where it's very obvious that you have it. So no, I haven't been tested. I wish I could be tested. I've been sick. I was sick in the end of January for 2 weeks, and then I got sick again like 2.5 weeks ago. And I've also had the flu shot, so I don't know what that's about. So, and then it cleared up, and so here I am. So I have no idea, and nobody does. So. As a veterinarian, it'll help keep our staff safe. I'm glad you guys will take steps. I'm sure you probably have some amount of biocontainment already because you have your door, and then you have like an area. Yeah. East Coast near the little islands. Total toilet paper problem. Yeah. Yeah. Toilet paper, don't worry about that, guys. There's not gonna be, that's a short-term shortage, I suspect, because the manufacturing hopefully is still happening. So it'll be back. There's not gonna be a problem with that. Plus China's already kind of coming back online. So things that we can get from China are gonna start coming back. So I'm not too worried about manufacturing of goods. But like when everyone stops working, it's a problem. All right, be safe. I'll talk to you guys later.